Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
It's Andor Candor. This is our Andor discussion show. We talk about the episodes as they come out. Lena, my producer, my confidant, my friend.
I'm a friend?
It's the F word.
That's cool. I'm just finding out now.
Well, yeah, I wanted to kind of do it publicly because I feel so strongly about it.
Oh my God, that's awesome. You're my friend too.
Thank you for saying it back.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Don't worry.
And, of course, Stephanie doing double duty. Just had a feedback. Now still here for Andor Candor.
Double fist in it, baby.
And
Double fisted in those ones and twos.
she's from Korea.
Yeah.
We learned in the feedback.
Partly, yeah.
Korean-y.
Yeah.
She's Korean-y. Guys, let's get into Andor. We've got your chat here. By the way, there's going to be spoilers. A lot of spoilers. But not too many. Because there wasn't a whole lot that happened that was super spoiler. It was just I think we knew what was going to happen. But we're just going to talk about kind of the way it happened, what we think about the series so far.
There may be a head count of people that died.
There is a little bit of maybe some people died.
Maybe some people died. So,
But we do spoil, okay? This is not a non-spoilerly show. There's plenty of other people doing that. We're going to spoil it for you because we want to get into the nitty-gritty. And we can't do that unless we stomp on some spoilers for you.
yeah.
Also, exclamation point Q.
Build a bag of spoilers.
Oh, rip it open. Oh, you're so strong. Exclamation point Q gets your questions sent over to Stephanie. Stephanie will then send them over to us or just ask them on your behalf. Emily is busy. She's shooting a pretty cool thing. I think you guys are going to really like it.
Yeah.
We'll get her here as much as we possibly can. I know this is one thing she absolutely loves doing.
She said she'd share some of her thoughts maybe when she comes back.
Oh!
She'd save some special thoughts on this episode specifically.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Teaser
Okay.
for the next ep.
Andor Candor. Episode 6. The Big Heist. It just dropped. Lena, let me get your just initial impressions on the episode. What do you think?
Ooh, it was good.
It was good.
It was so freaking good.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a huge climactic episode. I knew it would be action-packed. Obviously, that last week's episode was like the calm before the storm.
Right. But still so good.
And still great.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, will it be as action-packed as I expect? And we had some predictions for how things were going to go.
Right.
And it surprised me still. It still went some twists and turns that I would not have expected.
Yep.
And just watching it all go down, I was at the edge of my seat. I friggin' loved the eye.
Yeah.
Seeing that. That
Yeah.
was some of the coolest,
This
celestial
is
cinematography I've seen in any Star Wars
one of the best looking shows
program.
on
yeah.
TV. Okay? If I'm going to just pick
Get
up
into
right
it.
there.
I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm going to say some pretty bold things here.
Okay.
Because I feel very strong. I mentioned this in the feedback just before we got started. I feel very strongly about this show.
Okay.
To me, this is the show, and I've said this since we started doing this, and I'm glad it hasn't let up. Mm-hmm. This is the best thing Star Wars has made.
Ever.
Since
Okay.
the original trilogy. Now, I think the original trilogy is needed to get here,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
but no other Disney Plus show. May I even say Marvel, including Marvel shows.
Whoa, Cass.
I think this is
a hot take.
the best show Disney owns right now.
Wow.
And I know we're only 6 episodes in. If this was a Marvel show, the series would have ended last night or on Wednesday.
That's true, yeah.
When it came out. It would have been 6 episodes. That last episode we got was enough for a series finale
Absolutely.
on any other show.
Yep. But nope, that's a mid-season finale.
It's a mid-season.
Halfway.
We know we're getting 12 episodes, and we also know we're getting another full 12 episodes in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
This is, for where it is right now, the halfway point and how good it's been. And I will change this week to week as I see fit because it's my show.
Yeah.
This is the best show on TV.
Whoa.
And I am
Currently.
including House of the Dragon on that.
I would agree.
House of the Dragon is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of pacing and I've got to catch up. This is like I watched these episodes twice because I
wanted to
do
watch
one
it
with
one
notes
time, yeah.
and then I do one with my
I was
girlfriend at
rewinding
night.
constantly.
Yes.
I was like, wait. Yeah,
and
I see that again.
And I don't get bored the second.
Yeah.
I even go like, wow, like I have even more appreciation for it the second time. That's how I feel.
I would agree about the House of the Dragons thing because the dialogue in House of the Dragons, honestly,
Right.
it's okay. It's just okay. I'm trying to think of a line that I could quote from House of the Dragons, and I honestly can't.
Right.
But with Andor, Candor, it's like every episode, there's at least like 6 iconic lines that I'm like, ooh,
Yes.
that was good.
House of the Dragon is good writing, great acting. Andor, great writing, great acting.
Great acting, and just more memorable dialogue. That feels.
I haven't had
Specific.
this much fun.
Yeah.
By the way, the most Star Warsy thing that we saw was TIE fighters
Yeah.
and the doctor at the end with,
With the 4 arms.
Dr. Quadpo.
Quadpo or something like that.
It was on the nose. Very on the nose.
Very on the nose, that name.
We're going to get to him. But if you're watching along with us, I hope you feel the same way I do. Am I blowing it out of proportion? Am I going too far? Or are you right there with me? Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, let
I
us
got them
know.
right here.
Exclamation point Q. Please let us know if you agree or hard disagree. Can I give a hot take about The Mandalorian that people will be mad at me about?
Please stir the pot, create some controversy.
Okay.
Let's do it.
There are some great episodes in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Great episodes, right?
Yes.
And I love the like Western vibe of it, right?
Ding, 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 ding.
But my main disconnect with The Mandalorian,
Yep.
and I know it has to be this way because
Yep.
The Mandalorian has to wear a mask,
Yep.
is that I could never freaking connect to Pedro Pascal
Yes.
ever. Whole series, I was
This
like,
is an actual problem.
as just my basic lizard brain cannot empathize with this main character's plight.
Yep.
Because I can't see his facial expressions.
Yes. We as
This is
humans need
you're
to
asking
see.
a lot of me. You're asking a lot of your audience to watch an hour-long episode, 40-minute episode,
Yeah.
week to week, and I never get to see this damn guy's face. I never get to, it's
Absolutely.
like, and that was really hard for me to get past. Like Grogu is why I watched every single episode.
Yeah,
'Cause he
'cause
was
I could
so
see-
adorable.
Because I could see his flipping face.
I could see his flipping face and his little hands, and like it's like it just on a very base human primal level. Like
No, you're absolutely right.
you're starting a show at a disadvantage, trying to get me to connect if I can't see someone's face.
Mandalorian felt like a show
Yeah,
to me.
it did.
And essentially what's happening with Andor is like I feel like we're watching a mini series like that was on HBO.
Yes, and it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the Star Wars universe. It just happens to be. If it was just a story about a bunch of ragtag people trying to rebel against something,
That's the best part.
I would have still been interested.
It's about engaging interesting characters, doing interesting things like a heist that just happens to be in the Star Wars universe, and they're not hammering the Star Wars on us at all. We haven't seen a single stormtrooper yet.
That's
We
so
know that we're
true.
going to get some, but we're building up to it. So
Yeah, and we learned of the first we are currently seeing a stormtrooper. He's just out of the costume.
Yeah,
out of
Terraman.
the outfit. Terraman. We learned today in this episode that
Yeah.
he was a stormtrooper.
let's talk about this episode.
Yes, let's talk about this episode.
At the top, it opens with Nemec sort of telling Cassian that he couldn't sleep and he wrote a new, chapter in his
Yeah.
manifesto.
I love Nemec so much.
Nemec, when this show is all said and done, will be one of the most important people
Yeah.
in Star Wars lore.
Wow.
Right?
There's gonna be so much fan art of Nemec. I can tell you right now.
He is just like Mouse from The Matrix, except he's passionate and he's fighting for a cause and he's very well spoken and smart. Nemec is telling Cassian, "I couldn't sleep. And when I can't sleep, I write." And I wrote a whole thing about the rebellion's use of mercenaries. I always want to say mercenaries because that's what they say.
I mean, it sounds cool. Mercenaries.
Yeah. But I'll say it like a GD American, mercenaries.
Mercenaries.
And they say, he essentially goes to say, we use you as weapons and weapons are tools. and if they help the rebels achieve an outcome that's favorable, then we use tools. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was such a great line.
Yeah.
In such a great way for Nemec to sort of justify his position. And you almost feel like he's like had a sort of moral quandary about it.
Absolutely. He has to like justify this for himself to be able to do this because he's a moral guy. He leads
Yeah.
with a moral
Yeah.
heart.
And he says, Cassian says the Empire doesn't play by the rules, and they don't need to. They don't care enough to learn. They don't have to. Mm-hmm. Cassian says, ominously, you'll sleep when it's done.
Oh.
We see the
That was hard to
Aldanis
watch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
making their pilgrimage.
Yep.
There's a real fun racist scene here with
Really fun and racist,
Commandant
yeah.
J-Hold B has such fun racism.
He's so gross.
This is a new character we haven't met. Mm-hmm. Fat, happy. I think we're how Luthen says they're fat, and
literally
happy.
showing us.
He can't even put his belt on in a scene.
Yeah.
These guys are arrogant. He's essentially opening this scene by talking about how they think they've manipulated the Aldani people, given them so many options that they don't even remember what they wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
Essentially talking about how they displaced an entire indigenous people.
Yeah.
And how they're dwindled. The group has dwindled down to now around 60 people that make this pilgrimage every 3 years.
And they also say in that scene, like, do those people know that this will be the last time they're actually able to come here?
Yeah.
And no, they don't. And that made me quite sad.
It's sad. I think in the previous episode they talked about how they're going to build a
An air base or something.
Air base, yeah.
Yeah. And then
And-
they joke about how, they don't know this is going to be their last time here, but
We'll
don't worry,
need 'em.
they'll be back because we'll be using them as labor to build it, stuff.
It's so fun.
Gross.
Such, but conversations like this is like we were talking about in the feedback just now. It's just British colonialism.
Yes,
This is
absolutely.
the attitude. This is the conversations that were
Yeah.
had.
And honestly, that scene did feel a little like comedic in the sense that like they felt little stereotypical, but like I'm fine with it.
Yeah, they say all that, and then they both take a drink. I don't know if you noticed, but they both took a drink of their cups at the
Yeah.
same time. They're like always, like they're just indulging themselves.
Yes.
Vel and Cinta are where we last saw them. They were out on their own little mish, right?
And we were trying to figure out what that
Trying to
niche
figure out what
could
it
be.
was. Last episode, we had insinuated, and maybe we thought because we're just used to traditional
I
TV
know. I
tropes.
feel small-minded for really thinking, oh yeah, they're going to be prostitutes. That's what they're.
That's
what they're going to do.
We're not small-minded. We've just been trained to
We've
think
been
certain
trained
ways.
to think this
and what's
way.
great about this show is
Women.
it subverts these expectations.
Yes.
So we thought they were going to be, they were going to whore out and sort of like take over a couple guards.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was they had a 6 like Navy SEAL scuba
They're
scene.
just going to swim.
They're gonna swim. They got a little like propeller
guitars.
diving thing
Yeah.
that's gonna get them to the dam. Mm-hmm. They're gonna scale the walls, and they're gonna plant some radio jammers.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Very cool. All the while the other men were now in sort of a soldier uniform, walking in step, and sort of escorting
Yeah.
the remaining Aldani pilgrimers. Mm-hmm. Pilgrims.
Pilgrims.
And so everything is about to happen. And most of this episode is the thing that's happening. But they do spend what I like a few moments here setting up even J-Hold,
Yeah.
the bad guy. We have a scene with him and his wife and
family.
his kid.
The domestic scenes. Tony
Let me ask you
Gilroy
this.
loves that shit.
He loves it. Why do they take time to show us? Traditional Star Wars would just show you J-Hold.
Mm-hmm.
J-Hold would just be like, yep, we're going to completely decimate this population. We're going to turn this shit into an air base, and that's going to be that. Why does Tony Gilroy, what's he trying to do by showing us what it's like for J-Hold when he goes back to his
Yeah.
quarters and has a moment with his wife and daughter? What's he saying to us here?
There's like so many possible angles. Like the obvious one is like, oh, let's just humanize every single character a little bit more.
It's humanizing. And it's all and you absolutely nailed it. It's essentially he wants us to know that there are real people on every side.
Yeah.
And even as an imperial sort of like commandant, he has a wife and kids, and these aren't just like heartless. I'm sure he cares for his son, even though he's
Even bad
strict.
people are capable of loving their family. Mm-hmm. You know, that's something people need to learn.
And this family is there to
Time
sort of
again.
like they're taken hostage, right? So
Yeah.
kind of
I care about that kid.
exactly.
And you know what? It complicates our feelings towards the rebellion, right? Because it's like, I want to be fully in support of this, but now I'm worried that you guys are going to kill a kid.
Exactly. And that's sort of the moral gray. Remember first
Yes.
episode, we talked about the moral gray the show lives in, how it's actually just a very gray show in general, in the moral gray. So what happens after J-Hold and his family sort of are being escorted down into the ceremonial trading of the goat furs? They're essentially escorted back, and we're going to get into the beginning of the heist and what goes on. It's an action-packed sort of last half of the episode. So stick around. More comments, exclamation point Q. Send them in. We're talking Andor, Candor. More after the break.
Stick around.
Welcome back. It's Andor, Candor.
Welcome back.
There is a comment from Uncle Phil that, just sort of echoed what we were saying about how humanizes everyone. The show does a good job of humanizing everyone and making the Empire seem like everyone's like a small cog in the galaxy's war machine, is what Uncle Phil said, which I thought summarized what we were saying.
They're all disposable at the end of the day, and they all have their own personal lives
Yeah.
that are being exploited.
Yeah.
The Empire.
So we're about to sort of like, there's this ceremonial trading of the furs. What sort of impression are you getting by the head Aldani Pilgrim guy?
Oh, he hates the Empire.
Hates him, right?
He hates J-Hold. He says that line, oh gosh, I have it right here. He says...
Something about hopefully there's still some good
the
in you.
ghosts...
Oh, to J-Hold, yeah.
Yeah, he says to J-Hold as they're trading the fur. The ghosts. Oh, I can't freaking find
The
it.
ghosts
My-
have strong hands
Yes.
and long memories or
Yes,
something like
yes,
that.
yes. And Gorn is there to translate, and Gorn does not pass that message along. He's just like, he
Right.
says thank you.
Yeah. He
And I
says,
thought that
A
was
plus,
great.
good job.
Yeah.
Real fun. Yeah, and there was a line that same pilgrim had at Gorn, which was, I hope the eye may still, you may find some good in you yet or something.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't really quite tell what the relationship was, but it did seem strained.
Like maybe.
Because
maybe
he did
knew
marry
him from the previous relationship he had with an Aldani woman.
Yes. So I would imagine that Gorn would have to also put up this front to him, and he can't tell him,
He
no,
has
dude,
to
I'm
act like
actually
an
part of the
asshole."
rebellion. You can be so stoked when you find out what we're up to.
Yeah.
So I imagine
7 years there.
exactly.
7
Gorn has a lot of sort of internal conflict. Is like, I love these people, I care about them, I want to help them, but I can't. They think I'm the enemy.
Yeah.
And he does such a good job. He's been there for 7 years, like you said. He's got to put up that front and that facade for this plan to work, even if it's super painful.
I was thinking about that too, because this was a good episode for Gorn in general. Like we really get to see him like playing both sides and just the cost that has taken on him. And just thinking about how like, okay, so he is having to spend 7 years, definitely more in his previous career, being on this side, doing terrible things for the Empire. What missions has he had to participate on maybe 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
What ways has he had to put his thumb on the Aldani people?
That's why it takes a special person to go undercover.
So he's doing this undercover mission, but all for the hope of finally sticking it to them.
Yeah.
But still at the same time, what atrocities is he having to commit
Yeah.
his entire time to pull up the facade that this is what he supports?
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's why
really hard.
that's why we lose people undercover all the time. No, it's a great point, and I think that's again the moral sort of like the gray center area this show lives in, and people like because when you think about it, the rebels here take hostages, a woman and her child. The leader of our show, Cassian Andor, has killed mostly innocent people, especially in the first episode. And we're kind of all rooting for them because the show is telling us that these people are the main protagonists. But they're also showing us that it's not all like they're not always making the right decision, but as long as they're inching towards the right decision, sometimes they'll take a couple steps back, but as long as their overall arc is to get to the point where they're in Rogue One and they sort of put their lives on the line for the sake of the rebellion, that's what we're aiming for.
Right.
The stuff that happens before it, like Gorn maybe doing some atrocities, some light atrocities.
It's just a light.
Those are the things that we can avoid in order to get the big picture done. They take the hostages. Vel and Cinta do this cool Navy SEAL dive. They rappel off the dam.
Yeah.
So cool.
I wanted some Mission Impossible music to be playing.
Yeah. And the shots of them diving and then the sort of meteor.
Oh, yeah,
going.
that was such a cool shot. They had some great shots in this episode. My God.
The actual, by the time we get to the eye, the big sort of sky spectacle that's happening, I was blown away by just in my head. I was like, I wonder what that's gonna look.
I know.
like.
I was like, is it gonna live up to what I'm imagining in my
They've
head?
spent 2 episodes now
They've
talking
really
about
been
it,
talking it up.
built it up. Is it gonna be that cool? And frack, so
Flip.
cool.
It
The
was
colors.
so cool.
And even the just like the random comments that were like early, those all early birds.
Yeah, the teasers.
There's your grandpa showing up at Denny's for an early grand slam. These guys really knew that they had to sort of pull out all the stops for how this thing looked, and boy, was that cool. And the way they portrayed it was didn't let me down one bit, even though they've been talking about it for the last 2 eps.
I also loved how it would like give us a little bit and then cut back down to the vault.
Yeah.
And none of them see it. None of them
Right.
know. Well, they know what's going on, but it's like
Yeah.
they don't. They
Yeah.
can't observe it. And so going back and forth between that like really upped the ante for me.
Totally.
It
The
was just-
Tony
I
Gil-
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy's a master of sort of that sort of quick cut to another scene and sort of like
Just the
doing them
tense.
alongside each other and
Yeah.
pacing the episodes. Like he did that at the end of episode 3 in a real great way. So Vel and Cinta put a radio jammer on. The radio jammer's now working, and what's his name? Colonel Kimsey, the guy who's in the little shack, can't. He's like trying to figure out how to
yeah,
get the
there's something
signal
wrong.
back. Something's wrong.
This freaking guy's gonna get in the way.
So he's got his little sort of like his alert. He's on alert. Something's not right. Could it be the meteor shower? I don't know. What's causing it? Don't know yet. Down below, I forget the name of the guy, but the guy who essentially pulls his gun out and says, "Let the boy go."
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I saw something funny in chat.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Uncle Phil 2K again said you can upgrade your Atrocity Light with an Imperial Atrocity Plus membership.
That's right.
Great stuff.
We just, join us at the Empire.
Yes.
Where you'll commit anything from light atrocity to heavy atrocity, depending
Yeah.
on your membership tier.
Okay, I'm sorry. Please
Let the boy
continue.
go.
Let the boy go.
And we're all of a sudden, we're like, what side are we on here? This
Yeah.
guy just wants the kid to go free.
Yeah.
And Cinta shows up. Remember, we've learned by now Cinta's parents killed by stormtroopers.
Yes.
She's got a real chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, she was really tough in this episode, and
Yeah.
and I mean, she was killing people left and right. She was just showing like she's a dark horse in this team.
She was the one bringing Vel back down to Earth because Vel
Yep,
had
Vel
on
got
the
panicky
on the
up there.
dam. She was panicking, and she had a moments of like, Vel, like, come on, what's going on? Come back. Are we gonna do this? Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Vel almost had like this is all like hitting me right
Yeah.
now. I can't believe we're about to do this. Cinta's like, let's go. She's like, oh yeah, okay, let's
Yeah.
go. Cinta's the one that fires as soon as she comes down off that ladder and
saves
shoots the
Nemec.
guy. She saves Nemec. And so Cinta's kind of our MVP right now.
Yeah.
And essentially now they take all these guys and all these guards down into the quarterly payroll. Now, the quarterly payroll is just a bunch of credits. It's like stacked up like casino chips.
Yeah.
And what a
They look
fun
like
idea.
like giant batteries.
They do look like batteries. And when the one spilled and you could see them kind of fall, and I thought that was a great thing to show because in my head, I hadn't
How do I?
didn't know what they were.
visualize this? Yeah.
I've seen them trade credits in the show before, but like it didn't really like register. Now it's like they're like little squares, gold. Love to have a couple of those.
Yeah. Just a little souvenir.
Would
Could you get
love-
those at Galaxy's Edge? Do you
Dude, if they sold credits,
I'd pay $6,000 to stay at that Star Wars hotel just for one measly credit.
if they gave you one of the credits from the show,
Oh,
I'm a memorabilia guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love a prop.
Yeah.
Ooh, mommy.
Give me that Kuiper crystal.
Yeah, give me that
replica,
Kyber,
please.
baby.
So yes, the credits are available at Disney Hollywood Studios.
Okay, so I don't have to spend $6,000 to stay at the hotel just to get the credit.
God, no.
That's
They're-
awesome.
They're available where?
Hollywood Studios?
So at Disney Hollywood Studios.
Disney Hollywood Studio. Is that in Florida?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
in
Okay.
Orlando. They
It's
have
confusing
they
because they've
call
got
it
a
Hollywood
they've got a
Studios?
Hollywood there. The
Yeah.
Disneyland, Florida, Hollywood, Florida.
This is too much.
There's a part where Florida was like, we can do what California does.
Yeah.
Let's name a place Hollywood. We got beaches, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Mandalorian coins, calamari things,
Oh.
galactic credits.
How much is a credit? And is it gold like it is in in Andor?
So it's 4 parts and it's $30.
Okay.
Are they gold?
Not made out of
Are they
glass.
shiny gold?
So they're shiny.
But because I know in Mandalorian they were like silver or something.
They're like metallic. So there are 4 different colors.
Okay, I want
Okay.
the gold from Andor. Sorry, they're worth more.
Yeah.
They're getting the Imperial soldiers to do all the heavy lifting for them, literally. And now,
That's kind of funny to me. They're like,
Well,
come on,
smart.
J-Hold, push a car.
yeah, J-Hold is clearly struggling. He's obviously hasn't had to do anything physical for a very long time.
I was literally thinking, like, is this guy gonna have a friggin' heart attack?
Yeah, remember when he was with his wife and he was like, I think my belt shrank. She's like, perhaps you've expanded.
Perhaps you need to go on a walk, honey.
Perhaps you've expanded is the biggest slam Diego I've heard in a Star Wars show. And so, yeah, he's there. He's also working. Kimsey intercepts some of the radio transmission that Vel is doing alongside with, whoever's down there.
Yeah.
Either way, he
Cameron or
Yeah.
Whoever.
And he's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Something's going on. Let me gather some men. Men, we got to head down to the vault. They're like, but what about the show?
That's what okay, back to the
I'd be like,
humanizing
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I want to see the show.
They are humanizing these stupid guards because they're just like, this post is so boring. There's nothing to do here. This is the one thing I've been looking forward to. I just want to see cool stars.
But even amongst these idiots, there's one guy that's like on his game. And he's like, oh, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Comes down. He's got his gun. I'm about to sneeze at any moment. He comes down with his gun. I'm going to sneeze at you, so just embrace it.
No.
And so Lieutenant Gorn, who's come down by now, and there's a fun line here where he gives it to J-Hold, where J-Hold's like, you'll hang for this.
Oh,
you know?
I loved this line.
And what a killer line where he says, 7 years under you, I deserve much worse.
Yeah, that was so awesome. I loved that.
All right. Well,
And then Kimsey comes down, and he's like, oh, boy, something's off here. What's going on? Gorn's like, it's a secret mission.
It's a secret mission.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's
come on,
right.
J-Hold, go tell him.
You're not
Tell
supposed
him.
to. Yeah,
J-Hold, tell him.
and J-Hold's like, and just falls over. And that's when things start into a big old gunfight. And that's where we're going to leave off for a quick commercial break. When we come back, what happens in the gunfight? Who gets injured? Who dies? And what happens to all that loot? Stick around. You'll find out right after this. Welcome back to Andor, Candor.
Cassim sneezed real hard during the break.
so hard.
Wow, the way you say it is...
Oh, no.
Captain sneezed real hard.
Guys friggin' missed
hard.
it. He sneezed so hard.
I see the chat here. P. Kav Tao says, I'll get you those credits. I live next to Disney World. Not necessary. Thank you, though.
Please.
Well, here's the reason why. Because I'm actually trying to fast forward through the episode right now to catch a glimpse of these credits. Because the credits that they have at the Disney World, at the Star Wars Hollywood Disney World thing, don't look like the ones in my head that I saw in this episode. I saw a shiny gold square. These look like, they look like little cookies.
Yeah.
I don't want them.
I wouldn't want them.
Where we left off,
Yes.
the gunfight starts.
Mm-hmm.
TIE fighters are being mobilized. Love seeing this.
Yeah.
Another part of the beauty of this show is how small and focused and more menacing the things like TIE fighters, which typically like just explode.
Yeah.
You just see them, they flying around, they make a cool sound, and then they always get outmaneuvered. Every once in a while they'll hit like a rebel in a Y-wing or something.
I've never felt threatened by TIE fighters until this series.
They do a very cool job of like, they come down like bats, and
Yeah.
they're like, they hang down, and we see the soldiers. And in these shots, by the way, what a sense of scale, and like you could really see that, like, oh man, if they're not careful, they could just fall and die. I mean, it takes a sort of skilled pilot to even just get into one of these things. So the TIE fighters are being mobilized. The trolley or whatever their thing is almost all loaded. This is where we lose someone. Our main man, Tamaran. He gets shot.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
I think I saw this online, but it seemed like Skeen not providing cover fire here.
Yes, and I saw some arguing back and forth about, like, did Skeen do that on purpose because he had ulterior motives the entire time? Spoiler. Or was it really just like if he had covered Tamarin, that would have also blown his cover, and so he was just he was just genuinely trying not to get all of them killed.
The moral gray.
Moral gray.
Tamarin bites it.
That sucks.
And they finally get the doors up, and now they're on the rails. And that's the last we see of Cinta.
Yes, for now. And
that's
Gorn,
the last we see of
Lieutenant Gorn.
Gorn.
He's knocked out. We don't see if he's dead. He's been hit.
What happens?
We don't know. As of right now, we do not know.
So now they're trying to make their escape out the eye. Now remember, the meteor shower was the sort of cover under which they were going to escape. The TIE fighters are closing in. Remember that conversation when Cassian was like, well, is the thing mounted? Is it? I was like, what does that mean? And that pays off so well because, like, the thing is literally mounted to rails, and it's like it gets a sort of like
it's like a bowling ball. You go bowling and you throw the bowling ball down and you get it back. It's like a little.
Is it
chute
mounted
with wheels that like set you off?
What are you gonna do without me?
Sorry, I almost like smacked you in the face.
Please, I deserve it, especially if you've watched the feedback this morning.
Yeah.
And so, the thing is like he's flying it. You've got Nemec now, who's got that navigational thing, and
Did we talk about?
And this is where it would tell them what happens.
Okay, last week I said it's the unknown unknowns that are going to mess their plan up. And this was it.
Yeah. What was
Nemec, they're not strapped in yet in the ship.
No.
It's Skeen, Nemec, and Vel are in the ship, standing around, still around the payload, and an entire thing of payload just slides and knocks Nemec and literally crushes the bottom half of his body.
Yeah. And he says he can't feel his legs. But they still need Nemec.
And he's still alive for now.
Because Nemec's the one who's going to guide him through how to get through the eye.
Yeah.
And he's got that old school
navigator.
navigation. And once again, the old school navigation that the Empire forgot to use because everyone's been relying on the new tech. No, they're being undone by the old navigational tool, which I thought was fun and a callback to the last episode. And TIE fighters are on the way, and Cassian, for a second, kind of doubts Nemec's sort of navigation. He's like, you want me to go where?
Yeah. He's like, climb.
Yeah.
Just climb.
Just climb. And they go up, and he's like, go down, and they make it out, and a spectacular scene with the TIE fighters and the comets.
Just getting clobbered by the comets.
And I got to say, is one of the best looking CGI scenes I've seen in a Disney show.
So cool.
Recently. So fun. But we do need to get Nemec to a hospital. Skeen is the one who's like, Vel wanted to leave him.
Yeah.
We built a doctor into our contingency plan. She doesn't want to.
She's scared of risking the mission.
She's scared of risking the mission.
Him die for this.
Cassian goes, "Where's the doctor? Let's go." It cuts to.
And I do think part of the reason he says that is because Nemec is the one who covered for him and saved his life earlier in the gunfight.
Yeah.
So
yes, he did turn over and shoot the guy that was choking Cassian out. Great point. And so now they've landed at Dr. Quadpaws.
At some random planet. We don't know.
Random planet. There's a guy named Dr. Quadpaws who, you guessed it, has 4 arms.
Yeah. And a face kind of like Maz.
It does. Somebody tweeted me this morning.
With the goggles and all that.
Some nice young man tweeted me this morning. And he said, I need to know about Dr. Quadpaw and how he's 2 parts Maz Kanata, and 1 part Dr. Satan. Dr. Satan is House of a Thousand Corpses, if you've ever seen it.
I don't. Sorry.
Which is the best description I've received. Oh, geez, what's your name? From Roger. Roger Mouthpiece Studios? Yes.
Thank you, Roger.
On Twitter. And yes, I do think he's probably the same race that Maz was. Because he's got that giant head and those big old flipping eyes.
He's bigger, and wasn't Maz like very small and petite?
Well, maybe he's just a big boy.
Maybe he's just a big boy.
Maybe he's
There's a lot
expanded.
of range in size for that species.
Right. And while he's being operated on, we get probably one of the biggest moments of the episode, which is Skeen and Cassian outside. And Skeen is essentially telling him, like, hey, you just wanted to, like, win and walk away, right? How about we walk away with 40 mil apiece? There's 80 mil in that hauler right now. Me and you, split it. I need you to fly it, but 40 mil's enough for me to forget about you. Suggesting that they sort of turn their back to Vel and Nemec and just kind of make out with all this stuff. Even though it was Skeen that kind of got them to go to the doctor and suggested it.
I think he did that knowing it would be easier for them to pull off this plan.
You think so?
Yeah. Because
he's been playing the long con this whole time.
And listen, I think it's possible. There's a possibility where he was like, yeah, it'd be really nice to try to pull off this scheme if there's a moment of opportunity where I could actually pull it off.
Yeah.
And so this felt like an opportunistic move for him.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you know what? This might be a good moment to try to do this.
Yes, most definitely.
And if not, I'll look for my opportunity some other scheme farther down the road. But the line that really got me in that was Skeen telling Cassian, listen, we're the same. And I knew it from the moment I searched your bag. Like, we were born in a hole and we'll climb over anybody else just to get out.
Yep.
And that is the moment when Cassian shoots him.
What a quick draw McGraw he is.
Yeah.
Quicker than Han Solo.
He shot first?
He shot him. I'm so glad that they just shot this dude.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, when we're trained by traditional TV tropes to just be like, there's probably going to be a struggle here. There's probably going to be some sort of fight. No, they just avoid all that.
Yeah.
And Cassian, what I love about Cassian is that he doesn't take the necessary risks. He'll always ultimately do the thing that's going to, like, he does a quick assess of the threat analysis, and he doesn't like meander in it. No. He just boom, done. Like, I need to get free and clear, and like, I'm a survivor and you're dead now.
This is going to provide, if I went through with this would provide too many complications down the road where I wouldn't necessarily feel like I was safe. And also, so there's the practical decision for that.
He's doing the math, by the way. Skeen probably would end up trying to kill him down the line. If he's turned his back to these people that he's spent all this time with already, he barely knows Cassian. What's going to stop him from turning his back on Cassian?
And Skeen literally says, I'm a rebel against everyone else. That includes him. That includes him eventually down the road.
Good catch.
But I also think in this moment, it is a turning point for Cassian where Nemec's getting to him. What he's been doing is getting to him. And it's when he's told, like, we climb over people to get out by a Skeen, he's like, I don't want to be that guy anymore. That's what I thought.
Sure.
I thought that was partly what was behind this. He's like, no, it was almost a defensive, like, no, don't say that about me anymore.
He is slowly growing.
I don't want to be a whole guy.
He's not going to be the guy that we see in Rogue One yet.
Yeah.
But he is getting there.
Yeah.
And and we see that when he walks in with his gun pointed at Vel and Dr. Quadpa are like, hey. And she's like, oh, I knew it. He's like, no, it's not what you think.
Yeah.
I'm actually just taking my cut that was promised to me. It was 200,000 credits or whatever. And I'm giving you this Kyber crystal to give back to Luthen. I'm taking my cut. Everything else is yours, just like I promised, but I'm out. So, and that's where we are with his character and his journey. He could have walked away with the money.
He could have done it all.
Could have done it all. Instead, he just does what he agreed upon and doesn't really care if he thinks that she killed Skeen, but he knows that he's like, my hands are clean. Here's the thing.
And giving her the crystal is kind of one sign that, no, maybe he is kind of in the right.
He is. And then she kind of does a quick math on it as well. She goes, oh, okay. Well, Nemec is dead. He wanted you to have this. Just like we guessed, right? The manifesto. This manifesto is going to be important for the cause, and Cassian reluctant to have it. He's just like, my character isn't there yet.
Yeah.
But,
read
okay,
it.
I did like Nemec. I did care
Yeah.
about this guy, kind of. I'm going to take this.
I'll read it when I'm ready.
It's going to be important.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the very end of the episode, which is a quick shot of Mothma and Luthen, and then we're going to get our thoughts so far, and then we're going to end it. So stick around, quick commercial break, the end of the episode, when we come back. What's up, my home dogs?
What's up? What's up?
Home
hot
dogettes?
dogs and buns.
Hello, my hot doggies. Well, this is Andor, Candor. We're about to wrap up the episode, but before, some stuff still happens that we haven't talked about.
What stuff happened, Cass?
First of all, there's a scene at the ISB, a quick scene. Major Partagaz gets all his little white coats together in the room, and he says, you guys have until midnight to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Because
we've been hit.
We've been hit. And we're the guys that have to figure it out.
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentations at midnight. Everyone's staying late.
Yeah.
And then we see Mon Mothma at the Senate. Empty.
Very empty Galactic Senate.
No one's listening to her. She's talking about the poor Gormans who've got their trade routes cut out and they're starving. She's just trying to get some, introduce a bill to ease their sort of pain. No one there. No one listening. No one cares.
And the people seem distracted by some news, some potential news on their little iPads.
iPad says
And
shit's going down.
yeah, so that's the news breaking among the Senate.
Yeah, so
of this
Mothma
hit
realizes
from the
at this
rebels.
point, oh, I think we're a success.
I think we're a success.
News gets over to our man Luthen. He is at his shop,
Yep.
and some guy's like, hey, dude, you got any Aldani stuff?
And he's like, "Why would you?"
Why would you say that? What the hell?
They're in the news right now. They just got attacked.
Are you shitting me? Are you freaking serious?
I'm so serious, dude. You should check the news.
Okay, I'll have to check in back. Sit right there. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll put on my headphones so I don't hear you laughing in the back.
And okay, put on your headphones, dude. Put on your Beats.
I'll give you your privacy, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And then I'm gonna walk in the back, and then I'm gonna go have a big laugh, and then a sigh of relief.
Oh, it happened. It went.
Woo!
It went.
It,
Success.
It
Mission,
went.
It went. Mission accomplished.
Oh, we did it.
We did it.
And this is it's a fun. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but boy, is he able to get across how he's feeling very quickly. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So the rebellion's had its is this first major win? Even though we've lost a few good men.
Yeah, he doesn't know, the body count yet.
Doesn't know the body count.
But that it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They've made their first big.
I hope I get my
hit
necklace back.
Against the Empire. He wants that Kyber crystal back, of course.
It's worth 50,000 credits.
Yeah.
No less. And that's the end of the episode. Now, we talked about how every 3 episodes, it's kind of an end of a little mini arc within the 12. And what do we have next? We just watched a mid-season trailer. Mm-hmm. We see stormtroopers. I thought I saw a Death Trooper in there. We see Saw Gerrera. I saw Gerrera.
Yeah, you saw Gerrera.
I saw Gerrera.
Forrest Whitaker's back by.
They're back on Ferrix. Looks like stormtroopers are cleaning up Ferrix.
Yeah.
What a great build-up to the stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. We've gone 6 episodes, stormtrooper less. I hope these stormtroopers are threatening and they kick ass. I'm tired of bing, bang, boom, we missed.
Well, we get to see these stormtroopers without their masks, without their helmets.
Oh, frick, dude.
That's a question I have for Mr. Tony Gilroy.
You don't like a mask.
Because
it's one thing I know.
I want to be able to see underneath. I want to see those little micro expressions in your face.
Yeah, like this.
That little eye twitch.
Like this is what I say. You're my best friend.
See,
Lena?
I can see the strain there.
I really like doing the show with you.
And it's important for me to know exactly how he feels here.
Hey, Lena, I really enjoy doing this show with you every week.
Okay.
We do need those
We'll
expressions.
talk about that after this.
Yeah, we'll talk. We may have to get ahead of this.
We might have to.
And that's our episode, guys. Andor, Candor, episode 6. We got a lot coming, man. If anyone's got to lead into a shiny gold credit, a prop from the movie, if you work on the movie, hit me up in the DMs.
Send it.
I would love to put it right next to my Jurassic Park Barbasol can that I got at home.
Oh, shit.
That's what's up. And, we're going to be here next week talking episode 7. I, once again, think this is the best show on TV. This is definitely the best Star Wars content we've ever got post-original trilogy. Can't wait to see Deidre, Cyril.
Mm-hmm. I want to see Bix and Marva again. Ooh. I want them to come back.
Yeah.
We got to figure out the sister situation with Cassian. That's kind of been
his sister, who he was looking for, is no longer.
Revisit that.
We got to. We have a lot of loose ends, but we're only halfway through. There's plenty of time to figure them out.
I want to see Vel and Cinta reunited as well.
Yeah.
Space lesbians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see some space lesbians kiss. All right, Lena, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at LEYNUHPAWP.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the feedback every friggin' morning.
Every morning.
Mm-hmm. We got Vibe Check next Tuesday.
Vibe Check next Tuesday.
We got our
Attack
main
of the
show
show.
next
Fresh
Wednesday.
Ink.
Fresh Ink.
Fresh Ink
today?
is coming out today. Okay. The last episode of She-Hulk. Me and Courtney Miller from Smosh get down and dirty. It's a long episode, too. For those of you that wanted longer episodes, this one's clocking in at almost 40 GD minutes.
Oh, my God. Set your timers.
Set your timers.
Let's make sure he didn't just lie.
I don't think I did. Zilk.
It's like 34 minutes.
It's 34 minutes!
God. He lied to us.
That means he cut some stuff.
1 o'clock Pacific.
1 p.m. Pacific. Fresh Ink, She-Hulk, season finale airs. And Stephanie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter on RISUKIM.
Let's get them in the chat, guys. Let's get their links in the chat. Let's find them. Let's follow them. They're behind the camera, in front of the camera. They're alongside me, on top of me, below me, everywhere. That sounded weird, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get ahead of
A
this.
little weird. We
I'm
don't
not
have
getting
time.
ahead of this.
We don't have time to get ahead of this.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you
Thank you guys
later.
so much. We appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, click a thumbs up, leave a comment. All that stuff matters. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the people that are here, that do watch, that follow us and interact with us. We see the same faces in the chat
Yeah, we
every
love
week.
you.
We love seeing that, and I love doing this with you guys and for you guys. Okay, until next time, I'm Chasm. This is all the
I'm
others.
Lena.
And
Bye.
Bye-bye.